Dear friends, we continue Mark chapter 3 verses 7 to 12. In the previous passage, we saw Jesus healing the man with the withered hand on the Sabbath, as a result of which the religious authorities decide to do away with him. On facing opposition from the religious leaders at Capernaum, Jesus departs with his disciples. If we too oppose Jesus or try to eliminate his presence from our lives, he will depart. He is a perfect gentleman. He will never impose himself or his teachings upon us. Mark mentions the people came to Jesus from different places, from Jerusalem, which was about 100 miles away from Galilee. They came from the neighboring countries. Tyre and Sidon were cities in Phoenicia, a neighboring nation. Edomia is the Greek name for the nation of Edom. The Edomites were the descendants of Esau. Edom is the other name for Esau, the twin brother of Jacob. Herod the Great was an Edomian. He was half Edomian and half Jew. The Israelites were the descendants of Jacob, whose other name was Israel. Now verse 11 says that whenever those possessed by evil spirits caught sight of Jesus, the spirits would throw them to the ground in front of Jesus, shrieking, "You are the Son of God." Son of God. This term or title that describes Jesus' identity is used about 6 times in Mark's Gospel. Most prominently, it is used at the start, Mark chapter 1 verse 1, and at the end, Mark 15 verse 39. In verse 12, Jesus sternly orders them not to make him known. This is with regard to the messianic secret discussed earlier, which is a characteristic feature of the Gospel according to St. Mark. Another characteristic feature of Mark is that he pays attention to details. That is, only Mark mentions the fact that Jesus asked his disciples to keep a boat ready for him to avoid him from being crushed by the crowd. Also, when in the storm, only Mark mentions Jesus is sleeping on a pillow. So, attention to details about Jesus is another characteristic feature of Mark's Gospel. Why did the vast multitude of people come to Jesus? Verse 8, the news about his miracles had spread far and wide, and so vast numbers of people came to see him. Verse 10 says, "For he had cured many, so all who had diseases pressed upon him to touch him." The majority of them came to Jesus for miracles and healings, chamatkar or changai. We must check our intentions as well. Why do we come to Jesus? Is it to receive some healing or deliverance or some miracle? Healings, deliverance, and miracles do have a place in the Christian life, but these should not be the sole reason for our coming to Jesus. We must rather yearn for a right relationship with Jesus. A right relationship with Jesus. Pope John Paul II says, "Christ the Redeemer fully reveals man to himself. The person who wishes to understand himself or herself thoroughly must draw near to Christ." May we come to Jesus in order to follow him more closely, to know him more clearly, and to love him more dearly. Amen.